Patrons, subscribers, fans, and followers from around the world, welcome to the IR4 podcast. It's your boy, Brian Masterson, with Jeremy Alexander Newsom. That was my favorite thing of all time.
ET phone home.
That was amazing. So, folks, we have an absolutely sensational, wonderful, and splendidly serendipitously fantastic episode and interview today with Mr. Dan Bates. He's the CEO of ImpactPPA. And you're going to absolutely love this interview. So let's go ahead and dive in. We're going to chat with Dan. We're going to ask great questions. And we're going to talk about one of the potentially the best blockchain solution Brian and I have heard of to date. So enjoy. So Dan Bates, thanks so much for being here. Last week, I actually got introduced to your project, ImpactPPA, and I didn't know anything about it until just a week ago. I reached out to you. You replied back to me within like 35 minutes. So thank you for that.
We aim to please over here, you know?
I appreciate it, man.
We're a full-service energy company.
That's what I'm saying. So tell us about this, man. What are you guys building over there?
Thanks for having me on this morning. I appreciate it. I started ImpactPPA about a year ago in order to complete the loop between project finance and renewable energy projects in the developing world. I've spent about the last decade working in Africa, India, Latin America, installing wind and solar products to people who need it. So this is really a social impact project. It's a project of real passion. So about a year ago, we started adding the blockchain piece to it because there's a big disconnect, not just between project finance and project deployment, but also the key to what I believe is actually the missing link was payment. How do you set up a renewable energy field, a solar farm, a wind farm, whatever, in an emerging market, and then show the investor how they get paid? So what we've done is we've created a mobile app that allows people to now prepay for energy in a third world country or developing market. Are you familiar with M-Pesa?
No.
The technology? Okay, M-Pesa is a platform that now accounts for almost 70% of the transactions that happen in East Africa, specifically started in Kenya. It allows people to trade mobile minutes
for
good services.
Yes, okay.
Right? So you go into the supermarket and you want to buy a loaf of bread and you've got minutes on your phone. That's currency.
That's amazing.
It's like a cryptocurrency, but it's not blockchain.
Right.
So what if so that led me to think, what if you could connect users with mobile credit, if you will, or cryptocurrency, connect them to a generation device like a solar farm or a wind farm, a microgrid. We put the pieces together and we came up with this, what I believe is a revolutionary new way of distributing energy to the emerging markets of the world. That's what we do.
So would the ImpactPPA token or coin be that of a currency? So the end users would actually be using it to purchase the whatever electricity is coming off of that grid?
Yeah, so here's what happens. We set up a microgrid. We push power to a smart meter. That smart meter connects to the blockchain. A guy has a cell phone. Now, in Africa, India, these guys, they don't have credit. So they don't get a bill at the end of the month for their service. They go prepay for whatever they want. Minutes, right? In this case, they're going to prepay for electricity. On that mobile device, they then load their phone with Gen Credit. Our cryptocurrency, our coin, is called a Gen Credit.
Gen Credit.
Okay.
Right. Then the Gen Credit is on their phone. Their phone connects to the smart meter. We know about that person. They can buy power a day, a week, a month. Pay as you go power.
Wow.
Now, is that micrometer? Is that patented technology, or has that already been created?
It is. We are working with a company that makes these meters. A couple of different companies actually, and we've customized them for our use case. So I wouldn't say that it is proprietary that we built it, but we have good strategic partners that are the hardware providers. We're a software layer. We're a blockchain company.
Yep.
So how much are you anticipating? And I already forgot the name of the coin or the currency. Sorry. But it being on secondary markets.
Okay, the way it works is a 2-coin or 2-token model. The first token is the base token, which we call the MPQ.
Okay.
That's what will trade on the market. That's
Okay.
what will trade on the exchange. It's a security token. It's a Reg D offering. Okay.
Awesome. Good for you. You're doing it the right way, Dan.
That's right. That's right. We learned the hard way, right? We're not, hey, I can call the guy who buys the security token an investor.
Yeah.
He's
Hey, guess what?
not a token purchaser.
What a concept, huh?
Right. That's right. So all of the problems that we were experiencing with, the Howey test, right?
Yeah.
How to show a social impact investor that magical number, right? What's the magical number in crypto? You probably have a baseball cap with it, right? 10x.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. So as a social impact play, it's difficult to show that kind of return. As a utility token, it's really difficult to be able to show the token purchaser how they're going to see a return on their investment. We're not a protocol. We're just out there doing good in the world, right?
Yeah.
And making money at the same time. So we decided to move to the security token. Token purchasers now receive a portion of the net revenue from the company globally through the purchase of the MPQ token.
Mm-hmm.
The second token, the Gen Credit, that's a stable coin. It is globally priced, so it can be traded amongst yourself, but the reconciliation for the power is done at the smart meter. So for instance, let's say in Kenya, a unit of energy, a kilowatt hour, might cost 10 cents. And if you put $1 worth of Gen Credit, you would get 10 kilowatt hours.
Right.
Maybe you went across, someplace else in Africa. We do a lot of work in Somaliland. A kilowatt hour costs 50 cents. So there, the smart meter would reconcile that dollar as 2 kilowatt hours. So this way we can have a stable coin price and a global market and let the technology, the hardware technology, do the reconciliation on the blockchain.
Wow.
So that Gen Credit token will be benchmarked based on country, based on what geographical location. Like, how is that token going to be represented in each market?
It's not. It's a global currency. So if you buy, for instance, I'm here in California. People send money home to Latin America all the time to their families, right?
Right.
They do it typically through Western Union.
Right.
Well, this guy could now log on. He could buy Gen Credit on the internet. He could then charge his family's smart meter with additional electricity. Instead of sending fiat, he's sending electricity credits,
Wow.
Gen Credits.
Wow.
Right? So it's globally priced. Now, in the market, maybe it's Mexico, maybe it's Costa Rica, maybe it's Guatemala, whatever. The smart meter then reconciles the price of energy in that market.
In that location. Whoa. Now, will the energy differ based on what type of energy they're purchasing, or is it kind of just like a flat base for whatever it is there? If it's like hydroelectric or if it's wind power, does it matter, or is it all the same?
Doesn't matter. We're just a current source. In
Gotcha.
fact, I am days away from putting together, will be a huge deal in Africa, where we will not be the generation technology. We're just going to be the software layer.
Wow.
Because the utility company, which services millions of people, has a prepay meter that doesn't work. And it's caused huge problems in the country. And they reached out to me about 3 or 4 days ago and said, we need your solution. So I will be heading to Africa shortly.
Hey, congrats, man. That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. So how'd you get into this project? I mean, because you mentioned that you were already traveling into these other countries. Why were you over there? Were you over there for personal reasons or business reasons?
Business reasons. I started a company that did wind and solar technology in 2008, focused on the U.S. market. I realized that I was probably better suited to serve this technology into the developing markets of the world. And focused on Africa, focused on India, and we've got amazing traction. If you take a look at some of the press releases that ImpactPPA has released, those are all built on relationships that I've garnered over the last 10 years.
Right.
So in working in the emerging markets, really the first and foremost thing, and it's not just in energy, it's not just in what we do, is relationships. And we've developed a really, really strong network of relationships all over the world with people that are anxious to bring power to the underserved. And that's really what I like doing.
That's amazing. That's huge. And that's why I reached out to you, man, because we had one of the people who I think worked with you or worked on your marketing, Callie Nye. She mentioned your product or program. I was like, that is fascinating, because that is what we do at the Industrial Revolution, Fourth Industrial Revolution podcast. Is we like to work on and talk about what blockchain solutions are actually being created, and this is one of them. And I know Brian's super excited over there about this.
Well, and that's really important to me, which is the differentiation between Bitcoin and blockchain.
Yep.
Everybody says, oh, you're a Bitcoin company. No, we're a blockchain company.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Right.
A technology. It allows for all sorts of things that were, let's face it, you could have done it with a ledger, a database. It would be a pain in the ass to do it that way. Blockchain allows us to do a lot more than what we would normally be able to provide to customers. Look, our guys out in Africa, they don't have identity, right? They have a cell phone.
Yep.
And cell phone, just as a data point, 98% of the emerging markets of the world are connected. 98% of the population.
Wow.
As of 2017, everybody's got a cell phone, right? And they will hang on to that cell phone and make sure that it's got connectivity, and sometimes forego food.
Yeah,
that's how connectivity is right now.
Oh my goodness,
guys, that's insane.
That's incredible.
I totally freaked out this morning because of this interview and the fact that my home here in Southern California didn't have an internet connection, right?
Yeah.
I was going through withdrawals, right?
Yeah.
I'm sitting here in a coffee shop. So those people who have a cell phone, though, they have it as what we would call a burner, right? Prepaid. So the telco doesn't know who that person is. They got a handset and minutes. Well, now we can say, okay, your handset with these minutes or Gen Credit connect to a smart meter which has an address. It's got a location. So now we can learn about that person, right? Now, I'm not violating any privacy policy or anything like that, but we can say, these people in Kenya, these people in Ghana, these people wherever it might be in India are now connected. They're using energy. They used X in June. They used Y in July. There was an increase. Why? We can start learning about the unconnected.
Oh, man.
That's going to be awesome. Yeah. Obtaining all those data points and just seeing you can learn so much from gathering all that. Awesome project. I want to talk about the fun part and how much money have you guys raised? What's the we kind of talked about the token economics behind it, but your public sale isn't coming up until Q3, correct?
Correct.
So tell me what you guys have done to this point other than learn the regulations inside and out and structure it in a way where it is legally compliant.
Yeah, so what we've done is we've done a seed round. It's been $4 million. Right now, we've got a private pre-sale open. It's a rigged offering. Here in the U.S., you got to be an accredited investor.
Yep.
It's got a 1-year hold period. It's a 15-cent token. All the things that we've got to do to be compliant and make sure that we're being, cool with the SEC, right?
Yep.
Our pre-sale's got a $6 million soft cap, and we're raising 40.
Okay.
The $40 million, if you look at the spreadsheet, the way it all breaks down, 75% of that capital goes towards installing projects around the world.
Okay.
So this becomes an asset-backed token. I'm not going to go out and raise $100 million and put a bunch of guys in a cube.
Right.
I see a lot of great companies. They've got really good ideas. God bless them, but they're over-raising.
Yep.
And that's a problem, right? So what we are doing is we're going to raise the first chunk of 40, 75 or $31 million of it goes to projects to be done all over the world, which generate revenue. So really, in a sense, this is an asset-backed token, the MPQ. It's backed by wind, it's backed by solar, by batteries, by smart meters, right? That generate revenue.
Yep.
And then, we'll go to look to do more. So what the model is the MPQ holder will receive a dividend quarterly. There will be a component of buyback, so we're going to support the MPQ token in the exchange. And then everything we make goes back into the company to fund new projects. What we're trying to do is to try and get this to an evergreen, like a foundation. That we're self-sustaining and can do all the projects we want to do wherever they might be.
Right.
Nice. That's awesome. And, what you're doing is uplifting, economies and creating infrastructure and providing jobs. There's going to be there's going to need to be a ton of people out there servicing smart meters. You're creating the renewable resource, whatever it may be, whether it's solar. When you're helping these third world countries actually become developed. That's phenomenal. That's
huge.
So great.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
I love it.
And energy is the backbone to the growth of any economy.
Right.
Without that, you've got nothing, right?
Right. Let me ask
We've got projects in India. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, sorry about that, Dan. So I was going to ask, so you're a big thinker, and I totally appreciate that. I was watching a video on TED Talks, I think about 4 to 5 years ago, a little bit older actually, and they're referring to about how we can bank the unbanked and how you can take someone in an emerging country and help with their credit based on what they've used, what they've done, how often they've paid, what they've purchased for. And when you were mentioning that you're going to be able to collect that data on the smart meter and be able to understand how they've paid, how much they've paid, how often they paid. Do you have any opinion on how that will be able to help people in their financial realm, like how establish credit or establish really establish some type of profile on how reputable they are as a lender or a consumer?
Well, I think that's a big part of what we're doing is we're giving these unbanked people identity now for the first time, right?
Exactly.
Because, unlike, a cell phone with minutes where you don't really know who that person is.
Exactly.
If they buy power and we know who they are, where they are, we can then drop that data into a database working with other companies to give them the kind of reputation and identity that they would need for other goods and services. That's what we're going to be doing.
Exactly. That is massive. That is something that I've really been looking forward to for such a long time, because ever since I heard that, me personally, I think the entire credit score, credit agency, credit rating system is just entirely in shambles and asinine anyway. But it obviously has a huge barrier for people like that in other parts of the country as well, other parts of the world even, simply because of the factors that they can't be tracked what they actually use. That's massive, man. I'm so glad you guys are doing that.
Yeah. That's it's the next iteration, right, of our technology. We've got a long way. Look, I'll be honest with you. We're a small company. We're 9 of us here in the United States working our butts off trying to get this thing launched. We're opening an office in Africa this week. After this interview, I'm going to be on the phone with my guy. So we're going to be growing into East Africa. We've got a project in India that is going to bring, I hope you guys have read it, maybe Callie. By the way, Callie is awesome. She's really been a great help to this company. We're doing a project called Harakati in India, where we're helping the Indian government supplement their textile industry. And in doing so, they're going to bring 50 million women onto a payroll.
Wow.
Lifting them out of poverty. That's a big project that we've got going on.
Massive, Dan. Jeez.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You said 50 million?
Million.
It's daunting, right?
That is.
It's the largest blockchain project in the world once it's fully realized. I met with the minister. His name is Minister Singh of the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises. And I made a mistake in the meeting. I said, sir, it's an honor to be a part of this thing where you're going to bring 50,000 people, lifting them up out of poverty. He looked at me and said, if I do 50,000, I have failed.
Wow. Oh, wow.
It's awesome. What they're going to do is they're going to take a spinning loom, put it in a woman's home. That loom runs on 80 watts of power. We're going to power it with renewable energy. She then spins raw material into thread. The thread goes to the dye, weave, and stitch facility to be turned into fine cloth, cotton cloth. It's a craft, an Indian craft called Harakati, and they're going to put 50 million looms into these people's homes.
Wow.
Holy cow. That is
Wow.
awesome.
That's just
Dan,
mind-boggling.
where is Impact PPA making money?
Selling energy. That's
Selling
our gig.
the energy.
Yep.
That's right. Our product is easy. It's a kilowatt hour.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to be selling the Gen Credit token.
We sell the MPQ as the base token as a means of investment for our
Right.
for our token. Then we sell the Gen Credit in a local market, right? So if somebody goes in and buys Gen Credit with rupee, with shilling, with euro, with dollar, whatever it is, fiat to crypto
How about
exchange,
Bitcoin?
they can do that too. But we have to be very careful now about Bitcoin, right? If you're in an emerging market, we don't want that customer who's already used to paying fiat for their mobile minutes to have to learn how to trade on an exchange to get Gen Credit. They will be able to do that in the future, but I consider that a barrier to entry right now.
I would agree. Agreed.
So we're trying to make it as simple as we can. They already know how to put minutes on their phone. Minutes are the same thing as Gen Credits.
So are you guys going to have like little minute cards and at the gas stations or bodegas or whatnot?
Yeah, little scratcher cards, yeah.
Wow.
And it's just go in and purchase.
Right.
Wow.
Incredible.
Good for you.
Well, Dan, let me ask you a controversial question then. What is stopping America from the transition what's stopping us from doing the same thing, or at least transferring more to a sustainable, cleaner energy grid here in America, here in the States? Is it really just big oil corporations, money and greed? Is that what's stopping it?
Let me answer your question with a question.
Okay.
Is this a crypto podcast or is this a political podcast?
That's true. That's very true. I mean,
look, man, we're already renewable energy is at grid parity.
Yep.
You can produce wind and power from wind and solar at the same price as coal.
Sure.
Right, but big players, big money is influencing the switch, in my opinion, to a fully renewable or sustainable electric economy.
Right.
Now, maybe that'll happen quickly, maybe not. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, in this environment, it ain't going to happen anytime soon.
Right.
So get out and vote.
Yep.
Get out and vote.
Well, we've had a few clean energy discussions on the IR4 podcast because, like you mentioned, this is really what I'm so jazzed up about this interview is because this is like the culmination of we've had like 9 other interviews that have been talking about this exact project, and now that you've already been working on it, it's already happening, and that's why we're just so enthralled with this.
Yeah,
discussion.
I mean we've talked about the renewable aspect. We've talked about
smart grids.
The grids and the emerging markets and the undeveloped areas of the world and then cryptocurrencies, and you guys just killed it and put it all together.
Yep, it's amazing.
That's right.
It's amazing.
We're doing it, and I hate to say this because this is really not giving us any credit here, but I still think we're the best kept secret on the blockchain.
Yeah. You are.
Yeah, I was gonna say I did not hear about you guys until Jeremy reached out to you, Dan, and hearing this just brief, what is it? Been 30 minutes? I mean, this is revolutionary type stuff. Why isn't this more in the spotlight right now?
Well, we've been I'm old school, right? I wanted to go build something. I wanted to build business traction, and show real fundamentals underneath the company instead of let's just go build it on FOMO. And maybe that was wrong. Look, I gotta examine myself and understand what we did right and what we did wrong, and maybe we didn't build up enough hype early on instead of building products, instead of building customers and revenue.
Sure.
But now I've got to change that. I mean, the blockchain space, the crypto space, is very much driven on marketing, as is every industry, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to start doing a better job of that. That's why I'm here talking to you guys today. Love to get help and your perspective.
Yeah, but Dan, I would say that you guys do have something of substance behind you, and that's something that I personally like seeing too, versus all these facades of 50-page white papers or whatever it be, and just some cool, good-looking infographics and invest in us, and then there's nothing there. So, I think you did it the right way. I was just curious as to, where you guys were, and I think that crypto and blockchain has started to take a backseat in the spotlight because of, well, Jeremy can shed some light on this. Because of the downfall of these markets right now, and looking at the ICO craze and the bubble that popped, you guys are doing it a legal way as well, which I'm sure took a lot of time and took some capital to put together. Because I still know there's guys out there who are planning on doing ICOs, and it's not a Regulation D or Regulation A filing. They're doing. I mean, I can't believe it, especially after what the SEC came out and said. So, I think you're good. I think, hopefully we get your name out there to our followers and customers, and I know I'll be an advocate of this project for sure.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get there. Look, I'm a determined mofo.
That's right. That's right.
Right? We've got too much opportunity, and look, at the end of the day, I do believe that we're doing good in the world, so I want to see this thing through.
Yep.
And that's going to be our the thing that we hang our efforts off of.
Sure.
So you guys are, you have the MPQ token. You're a private company right now. How do you foresee a 10-year growth? And I'd like to couple that question with what's the competitive landscape right now, because there is some proprietary substance here. You are going to be making money. If someone knows or learns about this, you're either going to have competitors or already have competitors. So what's the competitive landscape, and where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Okay, so the competitive landscape, we're the only company that I've seen so far that has been able to figure out the generation to payment aspect. Right? Now, that's not to say 10 guys in different garages all over the world aren't working on it right now. We will have competition, no question about it. We have a first-to-market leadership, I think, because I've been doing this for a decade. I know where the projects are. I know I've got 200 megawatts lined up right now. If you count India, it's over 2 gigawatts.
Wow.
Right? I've got another project that I'm working on right now that'll probably add another gigawatt to it. Right after this interview, I've got a call with the guy to do that. So we've got more work than probably most large utility companies.
Wow.
As a small little crypto company. Where will I be in 10 years? I want to be the preeminent distributed, right? Decentralized utility company, putting distributed energy in the hands of people who need it all over the world. I don't care about markets.
I love it.
That's a bold dream, Dan. I like it.
That's what, so look, we're just going to do it. It's blocking and tackling. We're just going to do it, right?
That's right.
Love it.
So who's on your team? Let me pull up your website really quick, and can you kind of go through who's on your team and what they've worked on so far in helping you?
Yeah, sure. So I think the guy of note that you're going to want to hear about on the software side is James Young. James is our CTO. I've known James for 15 years. We've worked on a whole bunch of different projects together. He's the smartest developer one would ever meet, as well as an incredible worldview.
Right.
So he doesn't, you can take him out in public is what I'm saying. And he shows, he's smarter than I am. He's just so great.
Yeah.
And he's a super guy. Do you remember the game Farmville?
Yep.
Well, he helped get it to scale.
I love it. Wow. Okay.
So he understands massive scaling problems. In fact, he's working on them right now on some projects on state channels in Ethereum. So he's working on some really cutting edge stuff. It's amazing what this guy can do. We've got guys in business development who've been doing energy with me for 10 years. Really, really solid team. Our advisory board I like to talk about, Dr. Michael Dorsey, who is an renewable energy technologist and policy guy. He advised President Obama. He advised President Clinton. He sits on a bunch of boards that are just like a who's who of renewable energy, and has been really instrumental in opening a lot of doors for us. Dr. Michael Dorsey. And then I don't know if you're familiar with Vinay Gupta. Vinay was early on in the Ethereum world. So he is very well regarded in the blockchain space. He's been doing He's been doing blockchain since the 90s. Also very much involved in the developing worlds. When he saw our project, he goes, shit, you guys figured it out. I've been trying to do this for 20 years.
Wow.
How do I get involved?
Yeah.
So he's another really smart, really trusted advisor. So we're building a team of guys that understand where we can go. They're visionaries. They understand the emerging markets and renewable energy. And, look, we're expanding all the time.
Dan, when I was looking at some of the token allocation, what's the reasoning behind the 47% sticking with either the founders, developers, advisors, and then the reserve?
Okay, so 53% of the token are going to be sold. 20% are going to end up in the hands of management. Another 10% in developers. There is a 7%, I believe it is, advisory pool. And then there's a 10% development pool that we're holding in reserve. Okay, you never know what's going to come up. It's not going to be, it's going to be to incentivize good people to come on board.
Yep.
That's how we bring the team together.
Sure.
That's okay. Incredible stuff. Who have been your mentors throughout this whole process, Dan? Like, how did you get to the level that you're at, or just consciously?
Oh my God, what a loaded question!
It is loaded, man.
I guess it's because my background is in entertainment. I produced feature films, I produced records, music for many years. I did a lot of stuff in advertising. Creative things is really what I chose to pursue in my career. 10 years ago, I said I want to give something back. I want to do something in sustainability.
Yep.
I've had a successful entertainment career. Now it's time to help others.
Yep.
So going down that path, I was alone on that journey and met people along the way who have become mentors, who have become advisors, who have become partners. Mm-hmm. So it really isn't like one, aha moment or one aha person. It was like, okay, this guy's doing great work. This guy's doing great work. Let's see if we can collaborate and work together on projects. And really, that's what we've done.
Sure.
I mean, for instance, here's one that I'm really proud of, and it's business development related. When I started this company, I reached out to the Earth Day Network, the people who started Earth Day 48 years ago, right? And we never found the right project to work on together. I've known the people at Earth Day Network for 8 years. I started ImpactPPA. I called them up and I said, here's what I'm doing now. And they said, oh my God, you're putting blockchain and renewables together. Let's do a project together. We call it 50 by 50. And we're going to do 50 sustainable installations all over the world for people who are making a difference in other people's lives in energy-challenged environments. So that, for instance, our pilot that we're doing, the first one is for a woman named Edna Aden in Hargeisa, Somaliland. She started a hospital, a maternity hospital, to ward off infant mortality.
Wow.
Yeah, and she pays close to $1 on a kilowatt hour.
Right.
We're going to power renewables up on a roof of the hospital. All of those savings will go into patient care.
Mm-hmm. Incredible.
That's great.
We've got another guy in Vietnam who's warding off human trafficking. He runs on a diesel generator. We can help him save money. I've got a woman in Zimbabwe who takes HIV positive kids off the street. Going to do the same thing there. It's just an amazing project. So that's what we do.
That's awesome. Changing the world, Dan. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, one last question, man. So you're rattling off some countries there. Are there any other countries that we just in America probably haven't thought of? Any ones that you're working with? You kind of mentioned a lot of India, Africa, and South America. Are there any in Russia, Eastern Europe? I've
got a project in Kiev that I'm starting to work on, which I met a guy at Consensus in New York. He takes orphans off the streets of Kiev. Mm-hmm. They put them in a home. They actually construct a home for a family, and that family has to take 10 kids off the street of housing and take care of them. So not only is he providing shelter for people, he's also providing homes for these 10 kids. So that's in Kiev. Look, I've got conversations going on about helping folks on the Indian reservations here in the U.S. that are
Nice.
underserved.
Beautiful.
Right? They're neglected. You know, they run on diesel generators. They're destroying their environment. Right? They want to run on renewables. They don't have the capital.
Right.
So we're going to help those. So, you know, it's across the board.
I love it.
Great.
Yeah. Great stuff.
That's incredible, man. Well, thank you so much for spending your time with me. I know you had a wild morning, but it really means a lot that you were here. And I mean, without this interview, I mean, now, you know, who knows what the future holds? Because our lives are going to change forever having this information. You know, and that's what I love about interviewing people and working with entrepreneurs and visionaries, people such as yourself. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for doing this project, putting it into the world, and I hope it gets all the traction that it deserves.
I hope so too. Thank you guys. Thanks for giving me the opportunity.
Dan, go ahead and tell people where they can find the project at and learn more about everything that you're doing.
Yeah, sure. So our website is ImpactPPA.com. Please visit us there. You can click the Telegram button and join. Telegram, you know, I think it's ImpactPPA_original.
Okay.
It is our Telegram channel. Follow us on Twitter at ImpactPPA, on Facebook, wherever you don't look, all the normal suspects, right?
Okay.
The usual suspects.
Right.
All right. Please check us out. Tell all your friends. I'm trying to build community around this project. We're trying to get really out of the gate running hard here. So tell your friends, ImpactPPA.com.
I love it. Will do, man.
All right, guys.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Dan. You're awesome.
All right.